Hello and welcome to this, our third of this series, our Stylus Showcase series. My name is Matt Hamilton and I am here with Daniel today from the OpenZeppelin project to talk about their use of Stylus. So first of all, I'm just going to give a quick rundown of this series before we bring Daniel on. So this is a series that we're currently running at the moment, developer focused series, talking about Arbitrum Stylus. That is the technology that we released a couple of weeks ago that allows developers to build smart contracts in Rust and deploy them to the Arbitrum One network and Arbitrum Nova networks. So this is a developer series, and we'll be looking at things from the developer point of view. We also have an upcoming user series in which we'll be looking at some of these projects from a end user perspective. So like I said, this is the third one we're running. I think we've got 6 in total. Next week, we won't be doing a showcase because we have another series that we're running just for next week, which is the Stylus Pro series. And that is a series of workshops running from Tuesday to Thursday. And there'll be a 1-hour hands-on Stylus workshop led by some of my colleagues at Off-Chain Labs. And they'll be doing a Stylus workshop each day for that. So look out for details on that. So without further ado, let's bring on Daniel and start talking about OpenZeppelin. Hi, Daniel. Great to meet you.
Hi, Matt. Thank you for inviting me. I'm Daniel Bigos. I'm open source developer at OpenZeppelin. And right now I'm working on a smart contract library for Stylus.
Cool. So a lot of people will probably have come across OpenZeppelin already. They're very well known for things like their standard Solidity contracts a lot of people use. But give us just a brief rundown about sort of OpenZeppelin, sort of an overview and its goals. What problem is the team trying to solve?
Yeah, sure. So we, as a company, OpenZeppelin, have been in Web3 space for a while, and we may be known for our open source libraries, for example, Solidity ones. We also may be known for security audits or the Defender platform. We are also involved in many initiatives or DAOs within many ecosystems. And everything starts from our vision to protect the open economy.
Cool. So we're talking about Stylus today. How are you and OpenZeppelin working with Stylus then?
Yeah, sure. So we, as OpenZeppelin, we are building an open source library to provide many components to developers to build their projects. So right now, we are on the state that we released our release candidate, and we are undergoing a security audit of the library. The library right now provides components and tools like ERC20 token implementation with extensions, also ERC721 token with extensions, some access management smart contracts, crypto utilities like Merkle trees. We also started working on our next milestone, and in the next milestone, we are going to build another standards like ERC 1155 and also focus more on cryptographic functions, for example, Poseidon hash and another thing. Everything what we do is to make developers life easier, to provide them libraries, tooling, and stuff like that.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, a lot of people probably know OpenZeppelin, and I certainly do from your Solidity libraries. Like if you want to go and deploy an ERC20 token, you want to create your own currency or deploy an NFT, ERC721 or 1155, then a lot of people will know from your libraries, OpenZeppelin libraries, and go to like the OpenZeppelin wizard or whatever and sort of hit the checkboxes and get some Solidity code that they can then build upon. So this is now bringing that same kind of ease of getting going then to Stylus, and so you can do the same sort of thing, but in Rust, correct?
Yeah, that's true.
That's
That's
one
our
part.
goal.
Obviously,
That's our vision.
you got a lot of other stuff there as well you're working on as well, but
That's true.
yeah, okay, cool. So how's your how's the developer experience been with Stylus so far? Was it easy or challenging to get started? What was your previous experience with Rust, Solidity? I mean, I presume you've got a lot of Solidity experience, obviously, but what about Rust? Was that a new thing?
Yeah, so the whole team was experienced previously in Rust before started our work at OpenZeppelin. So for us, just work with Stylus SDK is, let's say, kind of easy because we have enough knowledge, we have enough expertise. So we really enjoy writing smart contracts, writing code, build our library with Stylus. Of course, Stylus is quite a new, let's say, framework. So there are some stuff that may be challenging, like some missing documentations. But this is new. This is understandable, and we are here together to make everything easier for developers.
Right. Yeah, and that's like I said, it's launched a couple of weeks ago. Already, we've had a few teams on here sort of talking about what they're doing. What has amazed me is all the teams so far. I mean, okay, maybe this is slight selection bias, and that you're here on a workshop talking about Stylus, but all of the teams so far have said they had Rust experience to start with, and that's fantastic. I mean, I know that there was a tweet out a couple of weeks ago again about how I can't remember the exact numbers, but 30,000 Solidity developers worldwide and 30 million Rust developers worldwide. And this is opening up the whole sort of smart contract ecosystem to this wider audience. And what's great is there's other projects out there, blockchain projects that support Rust, but I think as far as I'm aware, this is the first one that is kind of doing so in an EVM compatible way, right? And using that same sort of API that people will be used to from working with EVM, and that allows the interoperability between Solidity and Rust, which is really cool. So what specific parts of the protocols and work that you're doing do you think benefit the most from, or what parts of protocols that other people are developing do you think will benefit the most from your Stylus libraries?
That's a great question. So we build our libraries for teams, for people that at first want to build something around token standards. Also, we build many tooling around Stylus to help with testing. For example, our unit testing tool called Motsu, or our end-to-end testing tool that can be seen in our repository. Besides that, we developed a tool called Koba, and it is a tool to provide a way to deploy smart contracts with constructors, because constructors right now are not supported with Stylus, but we found a way to provide that feature to the ecosystem.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, testing's come up a lot in the previous conversations we've had with developers, and again, this is, I think, one of the things that sort of helps is Rust is a language used not just within smart contracts but outside of smart contracts. So there's a lot of experience in testing kind of off chain, and people are kind of looking to see, okay, what tools can we use from the Rust world with Stylus? What do we have to build ourselves? So it's quite interesting to see the approaches that the various projects are taking with regards to testing. So hopefully the testing libraries and frameworks that you're creating are going to help others coming into Stylus and enable them to use those testing libraries as well, which is great. Cool. So speaking of kind of development process, what advice or best practices do you have for developers considering building on Stylus?
That's a great question. So I was thinking for it to boot, what can I say to people that want to start with Stylus, with our library? And one of the first things that comes to my mind is to try to understand the code, how the SDK works by reading the code, by reading the test, because for me and for many developers, reading tests is something like reading the documentations. I also want to point out that we are kinda new. I mean, our library and also Stylus. So if anyone see any missing part in terms of features, documentations, example, just please let us know that we can build it for you. Sometimes having a fresh eye from someone that is not connected to us is really good feedback. Additionally, there may be some bugs at the beginning. So when you find something, when you try something, I really encourage to create a simple POC just to provide for us a way to simpler debug what's going on, to simpler and quicker get to the point that we can identify the real problem. And in terms of just starting with SDK, with Stylus, let's try at first, porting some Solidity smart contracts to Rust smart contracts, just by taking a look at examples from Stylus SDK, from our library. Try to build something by your own, try to use our library and stuff like that.
Yeah. And that's a great thing. I mean, I personally learned a lot from OpenZeppelin's Solidity libraries, and that's kind of how I learned Solidity, right? I kind of took your library, went through the wizard, hit buttons and got something that like worked straight off, and then was able to go through and say, well, wait a minute, what is that method doing? And kind of then look at the code and say, oh, okay, I see, that's how that's doing, or that's how you'd approach this or whatever. So, it's great to have these kind of well-known libraries that people can learn from. They can build upon them and learn from them, and it's great to see. So yeah, people watching and listening to this, OpenZeppelin are looking for feedback on their library, so definitely go into their GitHub, definitely take a look at it. We'll put the links up at the end of this. Definitely have a look through any feedback. They've got some issues as well that might be good for first-time contributors. One of the best ways to learn is to contribute. And this is one of the great things that open source software allows you to do, is the freedom to dissect and learn and everything, and as you contribute. So it is a great way to learn. It is a great way to get started. So definitely take OpenZeppelin up on their offer here to have a look through their code and contribute back, because they've got some good issues there that are good for first time contributors to the project, which is great. So in terms of kind of like support and advice, have there been particular like individuals, communities, resources that you found to be very useful or supportive for getting going?
Okay, so that's another good tip for people that wants to start the journey with Stylus. So at first, there are two great groups. The one group is Stylus Devs at Telegram. The second one is Stylus Devs at the Discord. Besides that, talking to people, developers behind Stylus via GitHub issues, pull request is really also a good way to understand better, to make some impact on the library itself, and additionally learning by building, experimenting with SDK. something is not clear, let's dive into the code, into test, understand, try to break something, try to change, modify.
Yeah, and that's the Telegram group is very active. I'm on there and I see quite a few questions and answers on there, and I know a lot of the team that have sort of helped build Stylus within Off-Chain Labs and within the Arbitrum Foundation and the wider community are there in the Telegram group and in the Discord. So definitely check those out, the Arbitrum Stylus Discord and Telegram groups, because they're a good place to get going. We've also run some bounties at various hackathons as well, specifically for Stylus. So if you're coming along to a hackathon, that's another good way to kind of get your feet wet with Stylus, is to do that. We've got some stuff coming up with a couple of series of events that will be announced soon in our Road to DevCon series, and also DevCon itself happening in Bangkok in November. So we'll be there, and we'll be at the ETH Global Hackathon there as well. There'll be some Stylus stuff going on there. So hopefully you'll be able to, pick up some of the OpenZeppelin libraries and use them in a hackathon project. That'll be a great way to get started with their stuff. So that's cool.
And we also be there. Gustavo and Sasha will be at Bangkok. So let's try to chat with them, connect with them.
Yeah, brilliant. I'm not sure if we've got any official plans or engagements or events together, but hopefully we do. If not, we'll definitely organize some unofficial ones, and definitely it'd be great to see the OpenZeppelin folks over at the Arbitrum booth and vice versa. And like I said, we'll be at the ETH Global Hackathon as well. So talking kind of sort of moving on to sort of the bigger picture sort of stuff with Stylus here, how do you see Stylus impacting the broader Web3 ecosystem?
Mm-hmm. So that's a great question. So for me, the possibility that Stylus provide EVM compatibility and also Rust efficiency, safety, is something that can shape the future. I mean, multi virtual machine is the future for smart contract platforms. I attended 2 weeks ago ETH Warsaw in Poland, and I had a chance to talk to some projects, and I know that they are experimenting with bringing Stylus to their platform, which I think is amazing. That Stylus, even if it's quite new, it is getting more and more traction. People want to use it, and all of the Stylus features can make many protocols, libraries more secure in terms of Rust usage. Also, Stylus can help reducing gas costs for all the protocols, because efficiency and lower gas costs are one of the main features of Stylus, possibilities that Stylus give. And also, what's amazing around Stylus is that developers can use existing well-known Rust tools, libraries, and use them in their smart contracts. So that's amazing. I see many possibilities, many places that Stylus can be used, onboarded. Great future.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, lower gas costs is definitely a very big feature, and we've already seen for very intense compute intensive jobs, it can be up to 10 times more efficient on gas than compared to Solidity. And one thing that has just been discovered recently is there was a slight bug in the gas calculation that is being addressed now and will be in the next Arbos update, and that will make it even more make it even cheaper in terms of gas calculation. There was just a slight error. So certain contracts are being slightly overcharged gas at the moment. Like I said, on compute intensive stuff, it's still 10 times cheaper than Solidity. But hopefully this will then reduce down the costs for the sort of the base cost of things that are not quite so compute intensive, and lower the cost of those as well, which would be really good. And security and testing, like you said, there's kind of security of things and the availability of other Rust libraries. That's a big feature that we keep hearing from developers that we're talking to. Is there's a whole Rust crate ecosystem out there. So if you want a particular cipher or a particular encoding library or something like that, then it's possibly already out there, and it may already have been audited or battle tested or used as well. And again, that's kind of this really cool thing that Solidity is a library that's just used within blockchains and with EVM blockchains, but Rust is used in a much wider context, right? So there's a lot of people out there with Rust experience. There's a lot of people out there that have built Rust tooling, libraries, testing functions, toolkits, IDEs, all of that kind of stuff is all out there. So that's a really cool thing to see, and I think that's going to be really helpful with kind of general smart contract adoption, Web3 adoption, being able to tap into this wider developer ecosystem of Rust developers. Like I said, I can't remember the exact numbers, but 30,000 Solidity developers, 30 million Rust developers. I can't remember the exact numbers, but it was orders of magnitude more. So that is really cool to see, and that's going to be really good. So cool. How do you anticipate kind of working with Stylus in the future? What are your sort of future plans with what you're doing? You've mentioned a few libraries. You've also mentioned a little bit about sort of some tooling and that. So what are your sort of future plans with Stylus?
Okay, so besides building some some token standards, we in the future want to focus more on cryptographing utilities, functions, signatures, hash functions, stuff around that. Also, we plan to improve testing tools. We believe that Motsu can become one of the main unit testing tool for Stylus. We also want to ship end-to-end testing, maybe with our library, maybe with something else. But this is something that we also want to focus on. We also want to kind of contribute, having all the knowledge from the work that we have done. We believe that we can contribute to the SDK in terms of bringing features, improving some developer experience. And yeah, we are encouraging people to also submit ideas. What can we build to help them with Stylus? I mean, what features, which components may be helpful for them. We are very eager to have a look on ideas, build them for you. We are here for you. Our goal is to build as many tools, components to make development easier and more secure.
Cool. Yeah, that's good to see. Yeah, there's, like I said, a lot of people are familiar with OpenZeppelin stuff for their libraries and like doing that. And any feedback, if people have feedback, want to see things in the OpenZeppelin libraries or the Stylus SDK itself, then please, get in touch with Daniel, with myself, with the the team at Arbitrum Foundation or Off-Chain Labs, because it'd be great to include some of those things in. So that'll be fantastic. Yeah, this is the great thing. It's getting this feedback back from the community. OpenZeppelin want to know what the community wants to build. Please give feedback. Have a test around and see what they got. I'm going to bring up just a screen share here, just to kind of go through some of the links and have just a quick look at the contracts and that we've got here. So Anna, are you able to bring my screen up on here? Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. So we've got the OpenZeppelin Stylus docs here. So here's the information here. We can go through under the main docs.OpenZeppelin site here that you can go through this information there, sort of documentation there about the various standards and stuff that they're working on. But also one of the great things is actually the source code itself. So the Rust contracts Stylus GitHub repository. If you go in here, again, this is a great way to kind of learn and kind of get your hands on. If we look in within, say, for instance, the contracts directory and look at, say, source token, let's look at, say, an ERC20 token and mods RS. We can actually see here the code that is used within this library, right? So we can see here the Solidity versions of a lot of the the Rust versions of a lot of the Solidity code. And this is a great learning resource. It's also great to kind of see what exactly is going on in the background here. So there's an interface, but there's also the implementation here as well. So if you want to find out how something works, go in here and see this. So how does a update work, for example? You can kind of go in here and see exactly what's going on here, which is great from your own point of view of learning how to do some of this stuff in Rust. I'm not a Rust developer specifically, but the great thing being is this has been very helpful for me to kind of go through, and I've started writing a few very simple kind of Rust smart contracts to test some of this stuff out. Like I said, I'm by no means a Rust developer. This has been really helpful for me to kind of go through and say, okay, how do you go about doing this sort of functionality in Rust, for example? So we've got that there. There's also the actual OpenZeppelin Stylus crate here, and the information there about using their libraries. So you can kind of see here, very similar to within Solidity, that you can just import their library and then inherit from it and put your own implementation in. So actually, if you want to use their Rust stuff, then there's actually not that many lines of code you need to write to get it going. I know that with the Solidity one, it's great that within like a couple of lines of code defining your token ticker and number of decimal places and that you can have a token up and running. It's going to be the same with Rust and what they're doing here, which is really cool. And also quickly just to mention, this is Koba project that was mentioned as well for deploying smart contracts and constructors as well. So this is a great thing here. I don't know if you want to just, Daniel, another quick sort of overview of this, because this is something that I was looking at, and it's something that still is a little bit confusing to me as to why this is necessary. So with a constructor, so what exactly is it that this is doing here?
Okay, so we have smart contract, Stylus smart contracts, and a smart contract may need some sort of initializations. Like, for example, here we can see a counter. So we want to initialize the number for a counter during smart contract deployment. So a tool that we created, Koba, requires also Solidity file with the memory layout, and also only a constructor. And what the tool does is to compile Solidity constructor and pack both the Stylus smart contract and constructor call data into a single transaction, and then deploy the Stylus smart contract to the network, and having everything initialized within just one step. So you can use Koba as a CLI tool, and also you can check out our end-to-end tests when we use Koba as a library for deploying smart contracts.
Okay, great. So this is just some automation to help with actually deploying the contracts and the, like you said, the initial instantiating, construction of contracts with arguments in as well. So that's pretty cool. Okay, Great. Is there anything else, Daniel, you wanted to cover? I'm not sure if I've covered everything. Is there anything else you wanted to add in or say?
Yeah, so basically, please, everyone, check out our library, provide feedback. We want to hear what you think about our library, how we can improve your developer experience. Submit issues. What do you want? What do you need? What can we build for you? Yeah, and enjoy building with our library.
Yeah, have fun building on top of this. So it's great. So fantastic. Thank you very much, Daniel, for coming on and talking about this. Hopefully this was useful to people. I know that I'm definitely looking forward to playing with this some more. I had a brief look at it kind of way back when in the early Stylus days, and I think I was a little bit early to it, but now, you know, Stylus is live on Arbitrum 1. And whilst the OpenZeppelin stuff is still in development, you can at least deploy it now and you know, have a play around with it on either testnet, or if you are feeling brave, onto Arbitrum 1. But like I said, it's not been fully audited yet, so they are still working on that. But still, it's all there for you to have a play around with. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Just a recap. Next week we'll be doing a skip next week of this Stylus series, because next week we have the Stylus Pro series, which is 3 days, Tuesday to Thursday, in which we'll have hands-on workshops delivered by my colleagues at Off-Chain Labs, and the people that have been actually building Stylus as well themselves. They will actually be doing some more hands-on technical workshops with Stylus. So definitely tune into that. Like I said, that's next week. If you look on the Arbitrum Twitter X feed, you'll find details of that as well. And then we'll resume the following week. And we have some more developers coming up again. You know, keep an eye on the Arbitrum Twitter X feed. You'll find out some more there about who we've got coming up in the next few weeks. Fantastic. Great. Well, thanks a lot, Daniel. And thanks to everyone for tuning in.
Thank you, Matt. Thanks, everyone, for joining us.
Bye.
Bye-bye.